What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com here, FightfulMMA.com, FightfulWrestling.com, the latest edition of our alternate commentary at Fightful.com. You all saw our Royal Rumble 2005 match. Hopefully you've seen the Elimination Chamber match from 2003 as well. That featured a plethora of future Hall of Famers. This one tonight, you're not going to be that lucky. This one probably given to us for the other reasons. You're going to see, well, you will see some future Hall of Famers. Big Show, Rob Van Dam, CM Punk. Maybe Hardcore Holly gets in. Maybe. Test is in this match. Bobby Lashley's in it. So there's some star power here, but the Extreme Elimination Chamber, you guys need to go over to the ECW section of the WWE Network. What, Jeff?
Because I was looking at WWE. There's no December to Dismember on the
1 hour, 31 minutes, 8 seconds. That is 1 hour, 31 minutes, 8 seconds. If you are judging by the hashtags or the hash marks they have on the WWE Network, it is second to last. I'll give you some time there. 1 hour, 31 minutes, 8 seconds. So this was, I believe, Jeff, was this the lone ECW pay-per-view that they ran like this? It only drew 4,800.
Didn't Heyman get fired or quit the next day also on this one? Or am I thinking of something else?
Oh, he got fired in relation to this or over this?
Yeah, no, and this was the lone pay-per-view, as I recall.
Well, I didn't actually watch this show. This was before I got into covering pro wrestling. Before I got into covering MMA, really anything. And I just remember hearing online that this show was a real shitstorm. And I'm about to find out what kind of a shitstorm it was. Alex, have you seen this match?
No, not at all. I'm looking forward to watching a train wreck.
you have to understand how much bad will that this thing had, because they brought it back and people were like, oh, great, ECW, cool. And everybody's kind of like, yeah, but it's Vince. And they put on Sci-Fi, and they decided they need some science fiction style thing. And after that first episode, I just remember the news groups I was on were crapping on this thing so hard and so angry, and angry at Vince McMahon for bringing back, and angry at Paul Heyman for putting his name on something that wasn't really ECW.
Here are some of the other matches on the show. You may look at Hardy Boys versus Eminem and say, not bad. Then you get Balls Mahoney versus Matt Stryker, Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay against the FBI with Trinity, underrated, by the way. Daivari versus Tommy Dreamer. Ariel and Kevin Thorne against Kelly and Mike Knox. Triple H, a big Mike Knox fan, I'm told. So, guys, if you're not at 1 hour, 31 minutes, 8 seconds, you need to be there now, because we're about to do the countdown. We'll go 3, 2, 1, play. So we'll just go ahead and do it. 3, 2, 1, play. Now, the concept of this, I don't think, is terrible. With the weapons inside the chamber and things like that. Yeah, Paul Heyman's coming out, and he needs security guards if he's going to walk around with a ponytail like that.
I miss the ponytail.
Now, at this point, I'm wondering if one of these guys was Edge, because you remember Edge showed up in like riot gear and gave Rob Van Dam the championship.
This is the look of a guy who's about to have a hair transplant, unfortunately, and then he didn't. So it's so weird.
The look of a guy who's about to not have a job.
That too.
Really unfortunate, because ECW never recovered.
Well, I always dug, I too also dig, the weapons in the cage matches. They used to do it in Smoky Mountain with like handcuffs as well. You had to handcuff your guy to eliminate him, but you also had weapons, and then you had Lethal Lockdown, which was fun until they made an entire pay-per-view of cage matches.
I'm with you. Paul Heyman's out here to talk some trash about something. Really wish I would have started this after the entrances. In retrospect.
Still my favorite talker, though.
Oh, he's fantastic. Oh, he braided the ponytail. That son of a bitch.
It's so skeevy. I love it. It's so
He looks like
bad.
he's, oh my God. He just looks like he's about to tell on somebody.
Needs to dye it blonde so he looks like one of the WWE women.
Dip it in like red hair dye.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what Paul Heyman's saying here, but I presume it's something that he absolutely doesn't want to say because he's very soon after this out the door. And during his absence, like he had conversations with TNA, he had conversations with Strikeforce, an MMA company. Like there was a while where it looked like maybe he just wasn't coming back to the wrestling or MMA world, but there was always interest in him. And eventually WWE gave in at the urging of Brock Lesnar. Jeff, do you think there was any other way that Paul Heyman got reintroduced into WWE besides Brock Lesnar pushing for it?
No, I think it had to be. I think that's the only way Brock comes back. I think that's the only way Heyman comes back. I think Heyman actually did do some work behind the scenes with Strikeforce during this time off to help guys with promos.
Yeah, he did. Or there were a lot of people that he had helped with promos. I believe like Shane Carwin, or I don't know about Shane Carwin because he was a Brock Lesnar opponent. There were some people that he had worked with. I know that, but I remember when Ariel Helwani like grilled Paul Heyman, like, you had talks with TNA. What did you all talk about? And it was really the only time that he had opened up about it. And he said they need a youth movement. I don't know if that would have worked necessarily what he was talking about, but
for me, I really wanted him to take over TNA, to be honest with you. But I also know, look, there are guys on writing staffs like this. He is a genius, but he needs a guy to filter his ideas through. He's a lot like in television when Kurt Sutter was on the staff of The Shield. Kurt Sutter was always the guy. He's the creator of Sons of Anarchy, who would have those far out ideas. Like I could see like a great writing staff if you had Heyman and Cornette together, but you had the one guy who was actually in charge making the decisions, and he just filters all that. But,
well, yeah, and you bring up the Kurt Sutter thing. Like, that's why you had Sons of Anarchy, which they stretched out, and you ended up getting things late in the show, like a school shooting with no payoff. Or
it was a 3-season show that lasted 6 seasons. So
yeah, like, I mean, if you have that, then it's just not always going to work. Finally, the chamber is being lowered.
That's another 6 minutes, I think, before. Because they got.
Why did WWE do this? For so many others, they do it after the entrances. But for everything that we are doing alternate commentary on, they make us sit through the entrances.
Yeah, dramatic effect.
Dog. What's with the seizure lights when they lower this thing? Always the seizure lights. I don't understand it.
Presentation, my friend. All about presentation.
Yeah. It makes it look bigger. Like there's 20 miles of chain, but with the strobe lights, you'd think it might be 30 miles, you know?
Well, it makes sense now. No wonder that we have all the shaky cam now, because everybody who worked for WWE had a seizure covering Elimination Chamber for them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing worse than the first War Games. I remember they have the rules on the screen, and they're actually reading them in the stadium. I'm just like, get to the match.
4 men loaded into the pods, 2 men start in the chamber. After a 5-minute period, a pod will open, releasing not only the competitor, but some other shit that they mentioned. What, their weapon?
Like a barbed wire bat, apparently, and a table.
That's handy.
Why not a gun?
Yeah, why not a gun? I mean,
it's no DQ. Why not bring a gun in the ring with you? No,
well, I mean, because the glass is bulletproof, so there's no point.
That's true.
But see, no, I get that. I kind of glossed over that for a second, and then boomerang right back in the back of my head. No, I always found that the WWE barbed wire bats lame, but that's also because I'm deep into my FMW watching right now.
FMW introduced me to Japanese wrestling. FMW and Hayabusa.
Wow! Look at the size of Big Show. Like
this is also about to leave Big Show.
Yeah. I'm just so used to him being svelte and having abs. And this is definitely not that version of the Big Show.
Yeah, it is the Big Show that ate that Big Show.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, as big as he is, I don't even though he was at his worst condition here. Like,
still
I don't think,
carries it well. I mean,
yeah, he carries it very well. And I mean, you look back at his days as the Giant, and it's like, my God, he was so trim.
He was doing drop kicks off the top rope.
Yeah. Elbow drops and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Isn't the angle that Heyman's borrowing Big Show from Vince to be his quote-unquote big star? I think that's
sort of. And I remember when he got brought over to ECW, people were like, I don't know. And then he made that appearance at One Night Stand where he wrecked Tony Mamaluke. And I mean, wrecked Tony Mamaluke. And people were like, okay, we'll do this. If he's going to sling Tony Mamaluke around with a Cobra Clutch Slam and make him do a 360 in the air. Like, Tony Hawk wasn't that far removed from doing the first 900, and I think Tony Mamaluke almost did the second.
Yeah.
Oh, they get to choose the weapon they take in the pod with them. That's kind of a cool little thing. I like that.
Fancy.
We're gonna have a duel. Pick your weapon, please, sir.
It looks like a little fungo bat in his hands, though. Like,
yeah, but
play wiffle ball with it.
In their defense, I mean, ECW back in the day and every other knockoff was like they'd buy barbed wire, but it'd be the type that was chemically treated, and so guys would be getting poisoned when they fell into barbed wire. You're just like, you morons.
Has there ever been a weapon in wrestling history that got paid off less than Janice from TNA? The board with it is the board with nails through it, but I will say the Berserker's sword.
Possibly.
Whatever the hell that thing that the Warlord brought to the ring.
Yeah,
the W stick.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking possibly a new contender for that will be the Bludgeon Brothers hammers, which will never be used. Because those things could crush a man's skull like a pancake.
I don't know. They use sledgehammers all the time, so maybe.
Maybe.
This is CM Punk and his live journal account still active at this time. I actually used to read that. Quite good.
I liked the Chicago-inspired gear that he had because, I mean, Chicago has such a nice flag anyway. Like, their colors are kind of cool.
He's cut a lot of the weight at this point that he thought he had to gain to be in the WWE, but he still has some of it.
I think his body had trouble adapting to that too. It looked like
the C stood for chunky back then. So
yeah,
Chunky Man Punk. That's what they called him. Old Chunky Man.
I'm already blocked, so you're trying to get blocked now.
I am not. I'll tweet hockey stuff to him. I'll be fine.
I don't remember what got me blocked from him or by him because one time I was doing a show on at a former employer and I said, CM Punk doesn't have me blocked. And then literally the next day he blocked me. And I was like, now I know CM Punk's not tuning into my post-Raw show.
What happens is people will reply and then tag him, and then all of a sudden he just blocks everybody.
It was on the air. Like, it wasn't a tweet. Like, I was just like, hey, he hasn't blocked me. And I looked. Nobody had tweeted that to him. Like, because I looked, and then I tried to find out, like, what if I tweeted him? And all I did was say something like, Joe Kenda is the legend. Joe Kenda, who hosts a show on Investigation Discovery about homicide investigations that he solved.
I have a soft spot in my heart for CP Monk. I really like that gimmick.
CP Monk from Chikara.
Test.
Oh my God.
Here to test our patience.
Man, Test had so much potential.
He really did. Still has the best big boot ever.
Yeah, I loved it. I still to this day believe he should have won the WWF Championship at Survivor Series 1999 and then lost it the month later to Triple H.
I disagree with Alex's big boot comment. I think the Barbarian still has that.
Okay.
I wonder this. I wonder this. Alex, do you think that if Test would have won the WWF title at Survivor Series 99 as Austin's replacement, would he be alive today?
Oh my God.
That's heavy, right?
That's a very heavy question. Maybe. I mean,
he might not have gotten fired in 2004 because they're They hang on to guys that have held that title a little bit longer, and he did some steroids, a lot of them, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, let's say this. Had he not died, then he wouldn't have been able to give marriage advice to Kelly from the Beyond the Grave. And we wouldn't have had one of our most popular articles in the history of the
ever. Yeah.
Alex, what's your favorite memory of being on a team with him in the TNA days?
Well, you know, I just like how I would show him my piercings, and he would show me a collection of needles.
Prince Albert in a can.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So, like during that time, and it really would have been perfect because Austin was eliminated, and the Big Show came in, and he had the feud with Boss Man, but that could have continued without the title. Test got screwed out of marriage by this guy, and he could have won the championship and then immediately dropped it the next month. And I just think that would have been a much better story. Bobby Lashley. Now, okay, I'll date us. We're filming this in 2017. Bobby Lashley looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he does. He does. He looks exactly the same. He hasn't aged a day.
Vince probably called him Shelton Benjamin in the back.
Oh, my God.
You know who Test is? Test and Lance Archer to me have a lot of similarities to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby
and I
Lashley,
love Bobby. I love Bobby in TNA. I love TNA Bobby Lashley.
He's great. Oh, especially a couple years ago when he just realized who he was as a human being.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can kick everybody's ass, man.
Yeah.
And he started to do it.
That's the one guy where you thought, man, if it were about 3 years ago, Vince should bring this guy back for one last run.
Yeah. Surprised he never had a significant Japan run, but I don't know if he wanted one, or else maybe he could have gotten one.
I think I too much of a family man, probably, and there's some guys who just don't want to do that.
Bobby Lashley's one of those guys I loved. Like, you could see how the cage spot with Umaga was designed to protect Umaga, like, physically, but it was such a cool visual where Bobby Lashley just jumped over the ropes into the cage and slammed it down on Umaga. Or as Donald Trump called him, Bobby Lindsley.
Test has the crowbar. Bobby Lashley has the thimble. Someone else has the dog.
Okay, Bruce Pritchard told the greatest Bob Holly story ever on his podcast. Have you all heard it?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God. You all got to go check it out. I'll have to find the episode, but I really enjoy Bruce's podcast. And I put it over when I can, but they would ask guys like their ideas, like on, well, what should we do with storylines? Let us know. And apparently Bob Holly said, I got an idea. How about I beat everybody and you give me the belt?
If you want to ever see the greatest disconnect between wrestler and gimmick, look up Bob Holly's run in Smoky Mountain where he's playing Hollywood Bob Holly.
Oh, really?
And he's dressing up in Bret Hart's pink and black gear, basically, wearing gas station sunglasses, reading the Enquirer, saying, I got to go on a date tonight with Julia Roberts. It's just the best. And he's coming out to David Bowie's Fame, which will never make the network, but it's fantastic.
If you guys are watching along and maybe skipped past the entrances, we are at 1 hour, 46 minutes, 39 seconds. And Rob Van Dam comes out. One of two people at this point that I thought really had stock in this match. He and CM Punk, because CM Punk is fresh off of that Survivor Series appearance.
Yeah,
where he was in there. Here. What is that?
Punk is hot here. I mean, everybody's yeah.
Had they went with CM Punk versus Rob Van Dam, it would have been much better. And CM Punk, like I said, fresh off of that Survivor Series appearance where he's in there with the Hardy Boys and DX, and the crowd is chanting in unison, CM Punk.
And didn't Holly beat someone to get in this match? And that was crapped on too, because it was like he beat someone who had some cachet or could have brought some more eyeballs to this match.
He attacked somebody, didn't he?
Was it Jeff Hardy possibly, or am I thinking of another?
I'm going to look. I didn't do my extra work.
Bob Holly's book, by the way, is worth a read.
Yes, it is. I got a lot of stuff out of my my Brawl for All article from that as well. Like he was very, very good. Sabu is who Holly beat up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Crowd chanted bullshit during the segment.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
I'm watching this with the subtitles on, so when Heyman was talking, I saw what he was saying. He was like, these are going to be 6 of the greatest competitors in the history of Extreme Championship Wrestling. And I was like, well, you got Rob Van Dam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That feel like ECW to me. They feel like,
No, that was the exact line of criticism as to why this thing had no interest on pay-per-view on at least Rec Sport Pro Wrestling at the time was this is not ECW, and they keep trying to sell it to me as ECW when there's only one ECW guy in this match.
Yeah. Now, when CM Punk was put in there, I was like, he fits. When Hardcore Holly was put in there, I was like, okay, I get it. Had they debuted a Bobby Lashley or something on ECW, you could say, well, he's an ECW guy, but they didn't do that.
Right.
Also, had you divided these guys up and included Sabu on the card, maybe the card wouldn't have sucked so bad. You can't put all your eggs in one basket like that.
Punk, I get, Lashley, I get, and even Big Show, I get in terms of that story, but you could have done probably without Test and Holly in this match. Always impressive aerial work from Mr. Van Dam.
You had Tommy Dreamer on the roster. He could have fit in here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Put the Sandman in here with a Singapore cane if you want to.
Was he even on this show? He probably hit somebody with a cane or something.
He's probably on SmackDown.
One of my favorite RVD matches, and I don't know if it holds up today. I haven't watched it in about 12 years. I loved his match against Balls Mahoney at Anarchy Rules.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see that? That showed what Balls Mahoney could do in the ring. And it was a last-minute thing because, J.T. Smith wasn't there or something. And I'm sitting there thinking, why the hell was J.T. Smith in that spot anyway? But WCW or ECW did that a lot. Now, I think this is a few months after Hardcore Holly got his back slit open something real proper on a table.
Oh, yeah, that table bump he took. Yeah.
It was nasty. Real nasty. It's just really a shame, man. Like you see the guys in here and you're like, this just doesn't fit.
No, it just doesn't work.
No.
Oh, Bob Holly's going up to the top rope and Rob Van Dam's outside the ring.
That's still a bump. That's still a bump, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
ate
a boot to the face, but still took the bump off of it.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like, I hope I can feel my fingertips tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're doing the whole 5-minute opening period shtick from War Games for this one too, which is interesting.
Well, they did that with all of them. It's every 5 minutes a pot opens.
That was every 2 after the first one.
Rolling Thunder.
Oh, it's always the worst when he catches them with his ass.
Yeah.
Because that means all of his weight's coming down on him. If he gets you with the back, then you're all right. But if Rob Van Dam hits you with his ass,
yeah,
you get the wind out of you.
I loved me some Rob Van Dam back in the day. That guy was just amazing to watch.
I loved him, but on every successive time they brought him back, he'd get slower and slower doing the same things. It just became. It was like kind of like Jericho during the AJ Styles feud. It's like we're watching a Rob Van Dam tribute act, on that last run. Because they don't let them adapt their styles when they're older. No. They go, the fans want the WWE universe wants to see the same moves that you did back in the day.
Which is why they had the Hardy Boys come back in their early 40s and like Team Extreme, and like no, that's not who these guys are anymore.
And they're also not the Hardy Boys necessarily. The Hardy middle-aged men with a family and a mortgage.
Hey, you can call them the Hardy Geezers. It has like a Z in it, so you can do that.
Geezers.
Also, Alex, good idea to put the subtitles on. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
I mean, it takes up a lot of the screen on my TV, but
Hardcore Holly had one hell of a drop kick.
Yes.
Also, man, he had one hell of a Falcon Arrow. I love that move, and he did it great. He didn't necessarily, I don't think he innovated the Alabama Slam. I'm sure somebody did it well before him, but man, he popularized it and did it very well.
It's Punk, baby.
I do love me some CM Punk.
I do too. I miss the guy. Assuming that he hasn't been back by the time people are watching this.
That's possible.
Yes.
This is young and hungry, and I haven't been grinded to the stone yet by the WWE. Punk.
To be honest, some of the grinded to the stone stuff was pretty good when he was facing the Shield and like 6-mans every week in 2013. That was some good stuff, man. Like that was some real good stuff.
Oh no, I like it a lot, but like towards the end of that run when he was like still doing his 4 hours of sleep a night because he's playing video games or whatever, and he has bags under his eyes and that you can just tell, and you're just like, oh my God, he looks like he's 50.
The Big Show just laughing his ass off in his pod.
Rob Van Dam shrugging because he screwed up the monkey flip.
CM Punk versus Rob Van Dam was a legit headliner for this show. Oh, that okay, I gotta say, I love me some CM Punk, love me some Rob Van Dam. That spot was not. Don't do it. That's a Jerry Lynn RVD spot. And you see why it was a Jerry Lynn RVD spot, because those are the two guys that could pull it off. Maybe there's another spot in the arsenal. I can't believe they're going to replay it too. Doofuses. Idiots.
I never view CM Punk as an aerial kind of star, even though he does aerial moves. So that was always the thing I got. It's like, look, when he was doing like the Macho Man elbow.
Well, that looked like it hurt CM Punk's leg more than it hurt Rob Van Dam's back or head. And then Punk or RVD had to take the bump awkwardly, or he tried to do the RVD bump, but it didn't work. Oh, well, that, on the other hand, is beautiful. And that is great production. That is wonderful. The shot of Rob Van Dam's face in there, and then
we would have
delivering that beautiful kick and then dying.
If it was today, we would see that in 75 different cuts, and we wouldn't have seen it at all.
Ow! See, there it is, pin outside the ring, but still, you're dragging a dude over the grate. That is insane.
Here's the thing: we mentioned in the 2003 alternate commentary that there was rope break. This, however, Jeff, is extreme.
All right. Points to you guys. All right. I've been sus.
Maybe you didn't get the memo, pal. But this is extreme.
This ain't your grandfather's wrestling.
Need some drowning pool to drown my sorrows. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack to every pro wrestling highlight video in the Kazaa days.
Yep.
I made one to Metallica's Sad But True when I was like 18.
Oh.
And every other MMA fighter coming out to it on indie shows.
I really do miss CM Punk, and I miss Rob Van Dam. It just made me sad seeing the Jerry Lynn RVD spot, and it was executed so poorly, and I'm just thinking that's why it's Jerry Lynn's spot.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there was anybody whose goodwill in terms of being a top guy that they blew more than CM Punk, because they did in this ECW. They did it when he won the title in Chicago, and they brought him back way too soon. They did it when they had, Kevin Nash friggin' burying him.
Yeah, the irony is, if he came back tomorrow or 2 weeks before WrestleMania, he's a WrestleMania main eventer. If you put him in there with Triple H, that is the WrestleMania main event, which is ironic because he left because that wasn't a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
But because he left, it is a WrestleMania main event now. So odd. Hell of a superplex from
you remember on September 1st, 2018, when he did Cody's show and he showed up? Man, that was great, wasn't it?
God damn it. God damn it.
Yes, that will have been amazing.
Like I am intrigued about that show that presumably has already happened by the time many people have checked this out. I'm trying to get timeless content here, guys, and y'all are screwing it up.
Well, Alex was doing it in the past. I at least time traveled to the future.
I'm wanting people to put these on a playlist and just have a ball.
Yeah.
At least Anna just gets us demonetized. She doesn't send us traveling through a goddamn DeLorean or anything.
Look, I will start dropping F-bombs if you'd like.
Hell of a like thrust kick from Rob Van Dam. You know, only like Goldust really uses a bulldog these days too. Like,
I swear to you, this is the second one we've done tonight. I'm getting seizures every time I see these lights flash around.
Yeah. Oh,
Test with a crowbar. Yikes.
No.
I'm for this.
I do have some gimmick crowbars in my car right now because my wife and I dressed up as the Sticky Bandits for Halloween. And they're like obnoxiously huge. I'm like, what could these do? Like, these are too big to accomplish anything outside of assault.
Is one of them Devin Storm?
Well played. He is like a chiropractor or a massage therapist or something now. I always see him commenting on, like, I feel like Nova's posts on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of Mike Bucci on Facebook, and I think I always see that. The best is when, like, Vito LaGrasso or Johnny the Bull Stamboli pop in because they're very outspoken. Man, this was in the day that Rob Van Dam had just had some of the best kicks in the world.
Yep.
I would love to see like a kick battle between Prime Rob Van Dam and Aleister Black. Just some of the stuff they could come up with, like the counters and avoiding and stuff like that. Whenever I see the interactions between Rob Van Dam and CM Punk, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, how special that program could have been.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Beautiful frog splash. You all gonna say anything? Do I gotta ask you questions?
No, I'm mad about pin right there. This is the moment where everybody got pissed because it's like, oh, there's your one guy on the come,
right?
In ECW that has all this great goodwill, and you get rid of him first. You get rid of him before all the guys are in the friggin' pod. That's just
so dumb. A test big boot ain't dumb. I need all of them.
I often wonder if Rob Van Dam had more of a corporate attitude, how big he could have been.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
well, now CM Punk and Hardcore Holly are out. Test is in there. Just, oh, man, what's with the gestures in these Elimination Chamber matches?
I know, it's excessive.
I'm for him.
Oh, good Lord. This thing where the pulling of the leg through the chain on top would become a standard.
Yeah, we never had a singles RVD versus CM. Oh,
RVD totally overselling that first chair shot, shaking his head.
Yeah, we never got a CM Punk RVD one-on-one match on WWE TV.
Wow.
Test being aerial is always impressive, though.
Yeah.
Because the dude's so big.
Ow!
Oh, and that stairwell. Oh, my God. It looked like his ass landed on RVD's head. Yeah, okay, I buy that as a finish. I really do.
I buy it as a finish, but it's also terrible booking. Like,
of course,
RVD
terrible
needs to be one of the last two guys in this match if it's at all going to be an ECW Elimination Chamber match. You know,
I seem to recall vaguely that Heyman had this alliance of Show, Test, and Holly in this match to get rid of the guys that people were supposed to like. And it's like, that backfired on you a little bit.
Shitty booking, especially when you're portraying Paul Heyman as this type of guy.
Right.
Yeah, this is not Heyman's choice to book it.
Oh my God, that was ugly.
This was the company's.
It really looked like his ass just landed all upon RVD's face.
Yep.
Crushed it. Like, man. You have to wear that Brutus the Barber Beefcake Undertaker 95 mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, shows cheering for Test to get up. So
probably because his theme music rules. It's enough to get me to cheer for him.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley's like, I'll never have music that good.
Nope.
I'll never have it. What? Never. Man, this is some extended time that they didn't need.
It really is.
no.
Yeah, it really is weird. Like it's just it's so. It's like they're extending it for some reason. Like it's like
I will say the in-ring action of this up to this point hasn't sucked that bad.
No,
it hasn't been bad. But man, the booking, like even in retrospect, like everybody knew it was bad then. That's the thing.
Oh, who's in the SWAT gear?
Oh, who's in the SWAT gear now?
Is it Edge?
Oh, they're not. I don't know if they're going to show it.
It's just
be their
Heyman's
guys.
funky,
No.
basically.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. What I don't understand. The whole, like, keeping a guy in the pod thing. The match can't end unless everyone has been in the match and been pinned,
Well,
right?
they want to wait until the Big Show's in there so they can, like,
so they can
both beat him up.
No, they're going to wait until he dies of high cholesterol. So, and then he, when he passes away.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So then the idea is to keep Bobby Lashley in this pod for 5 more minutes until
yeah, the extended amount of time. Oh my God.
Wait. I'm sorry. So that table that breaks so easily is able to rupture the chains.
Anything can? Okay, so the glass is bulletproof. But the chain is like from Fisher Price toys.
Yeah, it's a loose suggestion of being attached to anything.
A chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Well played.
If Lashley stays in that pod forever, who's our president now?
Wow.
Again, you're dating us because who knows if that will last through a full term.
That's very true.
That's a conundrum.
You know, that Bobcat's not doing such a bad job these days.
Woo.
Bobby Lashley throwing some really convincing strikes.
Love
God! A push kick to the ribs. At least one of those ribs is broken.
It's okay. With all the crazy stuff that Test is obviously on, he doesn't feel anything. Oh, my good Lord, he's just so puffed up.
My God. He still looks like that today, even. Well, you know, Bellator ain't testing him. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, Bobby Lashley. You used a pronoun. I was like,
I thought you were talking about Test
today.
You sons of bitches. You guys are horrible.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. You and I were on the same wavelength there.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
We made it through a show with Benoit without anything like that, but we can't get through one with Test.
Nope.
See, Test needs the leather pants that make him look tall. He doesn't need the trunks to make him look jacked.
Yeah,
that's what always. I mean, when you got a guy that tall, accentuate why he looks that tall. And it's just
right.
What do you all think of short hair Test?
I'm a big fan of long hair Test. Short hair Test doesn't look right to me.
No, I disagree only insofar as Test just looked like a bigger version of Edge or Christian.
Yeah,
who were also on the roster with longer
That's
hair.
True.
And he cut his hair really around the same time Christian did, maybe a year, maybe a few months.
Yeah.
And also,
Test bumps look terrible.
So. Yeah.
Test cannot bump worth a shit.
Yeah.
Be surprised to learn he got. Oh, that was just deliberate. That chair shot. Could you have telegraphed?
Nice bump on the spear.
Yeah. There was that.
True.
I mean, not for his neck and head.
No.
But a nice bump.
Well, just throwing the legs out.
Yeah.
I just love the shot of Big Show being like resigned to, oh man, I'm gonna have to work in this match. And again, of course, there's a minute and 10 seconds of nothing happening. That's good.
We got to build up tension here somehow.
Yeah.
So Big Show's next match would be the Mayweather match, right? After this?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
Or did he work like Hulk Hogan?
I thought he worked Rumble, didn't he?
I don't think so. Maybe he did. No. He worked Hogan. That's what it was. Okay, no. They did the December to Dismember, and then he fought Lashley the next day. Then he took a big break, and during that break in like April of 2007, he wrestled and lost to Hogan. And then he came back into the Mayweather angle, and he was in much better shape. But they did have him in some SmackDown and Raw matches before Mayweather, so I should say that. But he was
according to
people.
According to Wikipedia, which is always correct. His contract expired in February, and then he replaced Jerry Lawler when the WWE withdrew him from a match with former NWO partner Hulk Hogan at PMG Clash of Legends.
Talk about an upgrade.
Yeah,
maybe not depending on where they were, but yeah, if you give me Hulk Hogan and Big Show or Hulk Hogan and Jerry Lawler, I'll take Hogan and Big Show at that point in time.
And then he came back, attacked Ray, and got in a confrontation with Floyd.
You know, before earlier when I said, "Oh, the in ring hasn't been that bad in this," that's before we had Test, Bobby Lashley, and Big Show's the last three, and it became like the action wasn't plotting; it was almost non-existent.
No, but let's give a little bit of credit here for these spots here, because when you have a bat covered in when you have a bat covered in barbed wire, it's cool to block it with a chair.
Yeah.
And then get caught in a cage. I think that these are both clever.
I think they're both good.
Those are good ways of getting rid of that.
Because it's a way to get rid of it until the referee, of course, comes in and tries to take it out because there's probably something planned for it later.
Yeah. But this reminds me of how bad that Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar Extreme match was.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they couldn't pay off either the barbed wire bat or the chainsaw. They just had Dean pull it out from under the ring and just go, "Hey, I should use this," and then never actually use it.
You should have had the Warlord stick in here.
Yep.
The lock box where Shane has all that stuff on Vince.
It was the XFL business plan.
Warehouse full of Ico Pro. We could.
That's all Shane really wanted to do. He wanted to prevent the XFL relaunch.
Yeah.
For that, he's a hero.
And here we go. More humans going through bulletproof glass.
Yep.
Oh, that stuff's much more flimsy than the stuff in the last one.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, man, you get one of those blunderbusses and just shove it full of humans, then and turn them into bullets. Oh, my God, that was beautiful.
That's some saran wrap compared to the other stuff.
Yeah.
Blunderbuss full of humans. You've been playing some Red Dead, huh?
Time splitters. Time splitters, man. It's my jam. There were some spots that Big Show could just do so seamlessly, like throwing a person over the top rope like Lashley. And Lashley was always good at that bump, too. Big Show is also very good at making people like Bobby Lashley. Oh! Looked like they were tiny in the middle of a choke slam.
Right.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was wondering how tall he's 6'2". Okay.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Only 6'2". Wow.
It's because he's so broad, man.
Not Big Show, Lashley.
Yes.
What do you think was the worst incarnation of Big Show?
New Year's Baby?
Oh, broke and down and out Big Show.
I would say maybe Sumo Big Show was a bad one.
Oh, yeah, that was not good. That's not good.
Remember when he was in The Union?
The union's pretty bad, but everybody was bad in that one. That's just not singular to Big Show.
Nice. Big Show taking that spear. That's it. He just jumped.
Yeah, he just jumped.
And Bobby Lashley, the fiery underdog.
Yes, the fire underdog.
He overcomes the odds. This NAIA champion. Juice to the gills.
Yeah. He looks like a Marvel superhero.
Can't even hear anything because his traps are blocking his goddamn ears.
Yep.
Finally overcomes the challenge, and Paul Heyman is just beside himself. How am I gonna handle marketing a brand around this guy? How will I do it?
Yep.
Over the unmotivated 550-pound Big Show. What could I possibly do?
Big Show writing on a casket was pretty bad too, as I recall.
In reality, he's probably thinking, "This is my lasting image in ECW.
Yeah,
this is it." My God, Bobby Lashley winning. We would go on to later see great ECW champions like Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who engaged in a feud with Bobby Lashley over this title. He would wear do-rags and like
do-rag Vince is the worst.
Yes, without a doubt.
100%.
Keep in mind, do-rag Vince was not that far removed from like feuding with God Vince. I missed seeing God wrestle at Rupp Arena in, I think, 2006, was it? I can't believe that I skipped that. It ain't every day you get that opportunity.
Do-rag Vince is very close to primetime wrestling Vince when he and Heenan were doing kind of in the studio thing, and he'd be wearing knockoff Zubaz.
Oh, yeah. So, Alex, what is your lasting impression of this match? I mean, like I said, the first half of it, the in-ring action wasn't bad. And then it had its spots, but it got pretty bad after that. But really, it's hard to overlook how bad everybody knew the booking was back then. And looking back, it may be even worse.
Yeah, I agree. If they could have done something really cool where it would have been like 3 ECW guys, like true ECW guys in the match, and then 3 of these like, WWE knockoff who like, are part of this thing now. And you could have had like, which version of ECW is better. And you could have done the thing then where like the one right now is better because Vince says so. But at least you would have had more than one real ECW guy in the match.
And that was the story they told later on into WrestleMania. They had the new breed against the ECW originals, but I thought it would have been really great to have CM Punk as one of those new guys, then kind of reveal that then that was when he didn't want anything to do with the new guys and stuff like that. Maybe he gets beaten that way, but it's just so weird. Like, you look back at things and you see how hot Rob Van Dam was in 01 when they could have matched him with Steve Austin and it would have been white hot. Could have been white hot. This is 5 years later. There's been a lot of ball dropping here. And they didn't. Balls. None here, as you can tell by the immaturity on this show.
I'm 4.
But they also didn't ever go with CM Punk versus Rob Van Dam. What stood out to you on this one, Jeff?
Beating Punk this early and this quickly. It boggled my mind that you'd leave a bunch of guys in there that didn't have as much goodwill as CM Punk did going into this event.
And to me, like, I look at the booking, and you took Sabu out to put Hardcore Holly in. And I'm like, man, did you need that? Did you need that? Because that did nothing but build badwill. Because Hardcore Holly wasn't that integral to the story of Big Show and Test really beating people down. You could have done that anyway. You could have eliminated Sabu first, for the love of God.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Guys, let us know what alternate commentary you want to see next. If you want more stories, if you want more, more of us just riffing, if you want backstage stuff, what you want out of these, definitely go check out the Elimination Chamber match from 2003 and the Royal Rumble match from 2005. We're going to bring you a lot more of these. You can follow Alex at Pawlowski the Fourth. You can follow Jeff at Crap Game 13, me at Sean Ross Sapp, and us at Fightful Online cross-platform. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're out.